So Jack Smith has been granted permission by Judge Tanya Chutkan to file this oversized brief, this 180-page brief that has a lot of evidence and documentation and reasoning behind why they believe the immunity ruling doesn't apply to this new superseding indictment, and their facts and their evidence behind it, and laying everything out. And Judge Tanya Chutkan is going to have to make a ruling on this evidence and basically decide whether or not the immunity ruling from the Supreme Court deals with any of this, or if the case can proceed. And that's essentially what the Supreme Court said when they gave the case back to her, is you're going to have to look at this stuff and decide. We're not going to set the rules for you. We're just going to say, well, if it's an official act, he's immune. If it's not, if it's not official, he's not immune. But you got to decide all of that. And that's what this brief is for. But Judge Tanya Chutkan gave Jack Smith permission to file this oversized brief with all of the evidence and their supporting documentation, etc. But Donald Trump objected to that oversized brief, saying it was unfair, it was a lengthy tome, just went on and on. And Judge Tanya Chutkan noticed that, and in her ruling acknowledged that. She said the defendant's response to this request could have been summed up in basically one sentence, and the other 9 pages were him rehashing the same argument that he's made before. And basically, his one sentence was, this large, oversized brief is too big, and he thinks it's unfair. And the rehash of all of the other arguments is that nothing should happen until Donald Trump files a motion to dismiss several months from now because of this immunity ruling. And Judge Tanya Chutkan basically said that's not going to happen. She's going to make progress in this case, and she has already acknowledged his motion to dismiss based on this previously, and he's going to try it again later, and we'll deal with it at the scheduling points she has set forth when we get there. So she kind of hit back against Donald Trump and his team for trying this this complaint about this oversized motion, and we are going to get this oversized motion being entered into the public record on Thursday the 26th. That's bad news for Donald Trump, because this is going to have a lot of the evidence as far as what they are saying was an unofficial act by Donald Trump and not part of the presidency. And I think there's going to be stuff in there that we haven't seen that has not been made public yet. Donald Trump does not want this to be made public, and in his filing, not only was he saying it was unfair and it was a very long tome, he was also saying it goes against, it could prejudice the jury, and it could hurt him as far as the election and things like that. And Judge Tanya Chutkan just doesn't think so. She doesn't think it's going to affect the jury, and she doesn't think it's going to affect the election, or, well, that's not her concern as to whether or not it affects the election. Her concern is this trial and this case. So I'm expecting this filing to be made sometime on Thursday. It's going to be large. There's going to be a lot of information and a lot of details coming out in it, and we're going to be going over it after it comes out, and there's going to be a lot of comments and commentators looking at it, and I think we're going to have our eyes opened with just how bad things were in the Trump administration and just how much evidence there is against Donald Trump in this case. And this is all stuff Donald Trump never wanted to see the light of day.